They're not fighting for their father, they're fighting for their survival.
They say money can't buy peace. And for Sean Diddy Combs, it might not even buy loyalty anymore. After years of power, fame, and silence, his own family may finally be walking away. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment if you love this kind of content. Alright, let's dive in. Jaguar Wright, one of the industry's most outspoken insiders, says she saw this coming years ago. And now, the truth about Diddy's empire is leaking from inside his own house. They're not fighting for their father, Jaguar Wright says. They're fighting for survival. According to Jaguar, Diddy's children, once seen as the heirs to his billion-dollar brand, are desperately trying to escape his control. For years, she claims, Diddy ruled his home like he ruled his label, through manipulation, fear, and total financial dependence. Every luxury, every car, every business deal his kids had came through him. That meant if Diddy fell, they'd fall too. And after the federal raids, the lawsuits, and the disturbing evidence found inside his mansion, it's clear they're terrified of going down with him. Jaguar says these kids didn't just live with privilege, they lived with the devil's reputation. No matter what they do now, she warns, the world will always call them Diddy's children. That title used to open doors. Now, it shuts them.
And these are children who not only are attached to all of this wealth and privilege, but now they're the children of the devil. It doesn't matter if they've done nothing wrong. They're all going to assume they know something, no matter what they do. They could sit on 1 million charities from here to now, and they will all be known as Diddy's children. That's just like being called Rosemary Baby. They're screwed. Nobody wants anything to do with that. And when it gets to that point, they just shun you. Like I said, what they gonna do? Open up a bunch of wing stops?
Jaguar paints a picture of total control. She says Diddy isolated his family, using his wealth as both a gift and a weapon. If he falls, who's gonna hire them? Who's gonna fund them? She asks. No one. That's why, according to her, they stayed quiet, even as they witnessed the chaos inside their home. The lawsuits describe drugs, weapons, and freak-off parties hosted by Diddy himself. His sons, Justin and Christian, have even been named in assault suits, accused of helping recruit or entertain women for their father's parties. Jaguar says these sons learned early on that silence was survival, and now that silence might destroy them too.
When you're dealing with the kind of narcissistic control freak that Diddy is, and you raise children under that, the financial abuse for all of them is probably the worst. Because there's no way they can make money without him. He has them locked in. And if he falls, who's gonna hire them? Who's gonna fund them? Who's gonna look out for them? No one.
Right.
No one. They're not fighting for their father, they're fighting for their survival.
When Diddy finally faced sentencing, the world saw what looked like a united family. 6 adult children crying in court, begging the judge to show mercy. Quincy, Justin, and Christian called their father a hero. His daughters, Jessie, Delilah, and Chance, wept into microphones, pleading for a second chance. They said Diddy had changed, that he was remorseful, but Jaguar Wright says it was all scripted. She insists Diddy forced his kids to read those statements, a performance meant to soften the judge and the public, and it worked.
All 6 of Diddy's adult children went to the podium and addressed the court. First Quincy, then Justin, then Christian, saying their dad is their superhero, and although he has made mistakes, the man that stands before us today is a changed man. They say he is more patient and remorseful. Christian getting choked up as he spoke. But then his 18-year-old daughter Jessie went to the mic. As she sobbed, she begged the judge to give her dad a second chance, saying she lost her mom at a young age and already has experienced so many milestones without her dad. Her sisters, Delilah and Chance, echoing the same sentiment. All of them heavily sobbing into the mic, just saying, please, Please give my dad a second chance. They too reiterating that he is a changed man and that his demeanor is much different. Diddy is only a few feet away from them. He moved his chair so that he could face the podium. He's not crying, but his head is heavy and his hands are in his lap. Delilah telling the judge that she knows what it's like to grow up without a parent, and she doesn't want this to happen to her 2-year-old sister, Love. She says every night the toddler asks where her dad is. She then asks the judge to give her dad a second chance, not as a headline, but as a human being. At this point, several of Diddy's attorneys are also wiping away tears. The judge empathetically said, "I know this was difficult for you guys, but I thank you. I needed to hear this." The defense then played a 10-minute video highlighting Diddy as a father, a businessman, a philanthropist. Now, another thing I want to know is right before his family spoke, it was his attorney, Nicole Westmoreland, who was on the podium, talking about all his accomplishments, how throughout the years Diddy has gone out of his way to help people, and how that's his purpose and calling. And then Nicole Westmoreland broke down. Through tears, she talked about his ascent through the business world, how he started the Sean John clothing company, and how he's an inspiration to his community. And then through sobs, she said, "He inspired me," and talked about an experience in a speech that touched her that he gave a few years ago at an event.
Diddy was handed only a 50-month sentence, just over 4 years, for decades of alleged abuse and trafficking. Jaguar called it a slap on the wrist for the devil himself.
And I'll say it again, especially with what is happening with Kim's sons. I'm so grateful that she doesn't have to witness any of this. Because this probably would have killed him.
Stopping?
Any white Christian under scrutiny, Quincy being mocked and scorned, the girls now being implicated into home in the essay with their father by a girl who worked the white parties. Like, this is a lot.
Prosecutors later revealed that while awaiting trial, Diddy wasn't calling his kids 200 times a day. He was calling the victims. Reports say he made over 200 phone calls daily, trying to intimidate witnesses or convince them to change their stories. Even some family members allegedly reached out to victims on his behalf. Jaguar claims Diddy was running his usual game, manipulation wrapped in charm. "You down for Diddy?" she mocks. That's how the calls started. But this time, it didn't work. The victims refused to stay silent, and now the walls around Diddy are crumbling, one family member at a time. Things got worse during trial testimony. When prosecutors described how Diddy assaulted Cassie and detailed other graphic encounters, his 3 daughters, Chance, Delilah, and Jessie, stood up and walked out of court. Witnesses say they looked shaken and couldn't bear to hear what was being said. Rumors now claim they're seeking emancipation, trying to cut legal and financial ties to their father entirely. Jaguar compared them to O.J. Simpson's children, trapped by a parent's infamy. "They didn't choose this," she said. "They were born into it." And as she puts it, Diddy's the new O.J. Only this time, we saw the video.
And they didn't choose it. They were born into this. I don't think anybody's paying attention to that. The choice that they got. If that man calls and say, "I need you to do this, I need you to do that," what else are they going to do? They gotta bet on him. I'm sure they're all praying he makes it, because if not, what are they going to do? And they definitely can't count on Grandma Janice. They're screwed. One way or the other, they're screwed.
So there's no escape for them.
How? Was there escape for OJ's children? Their daddy is the new OJ. And we already know he done it. Like, OJ's kids went through hell. And there was reasonable doubt. We didn't see a video of him doing anything. We didn't see him running around in a towel with a knife, We seen that with the Dibbler.
The nightmare doesn't end with Diddy. In April 2024, a woman named Grace Omari Kay filed a lawsuit accusing Christian King Combs of sexual assault aboard Diddy's yacht. She says the party was supposed to be a wholesome family event, but turned into a drug-filled predatory nightmare. According to her, Christian pressured her to drink spiked tequila, and when she lost consciousness, he assaulted her. Her story echoes the same allegations seen in multiple suits against Diddy himself, that drinks were laced, women were trafficked, and silence was enforced. Even rapper 50 Cent warned the judge before sentencing. He said Diddy was very dangerous and that his sons were involved in the same crimes. Jaguar says 50's letter wasn't just shade, it was a warning. After sentencing, Diddy was sent to Fort Dix, New Jersey, a low-security federal prison. His lawyers claimed it was close to his family, but Jaguar and former bodyguard Gene Deal say there's another reason. Fort Dix has one of the weakest security systems in the federal network, and it offers a 9-month drug treatment program that can cut up to a full year off an inmate's sentence. Jaguar calls it a setup for escape, or at least an early release. Diddy got off like a fat rat in a cheese factory, she says. He'll be out in 2 years. But prison hasn't been easy. Reports say Diddy's already been attacked twice. Once with a knife to his throat. A guard allegedly stopped an inmate from stabbing him in his sleep. His lawyers even tried to use the incident to push for safer conditions. Jaguar and Gene Deal think it's karma. As Gene said, maybe it's one of Tupac's fans. Maybe it's Biggie's either way. Diddy's no longer untouchable. Standing outside the courthouse, Jaguar Wright said what many are afraid to admit. This isn't just about Diddy. It's about the whole industry. She compared it to R. Kelly's case, a network of enablers who looked the other way for profit. Jaguar says there are many more victims who haven't come forward yet, and many more stars who should be in handcuffs. As Diddy serves his sentence, the cracks in his empire grow wider every day. His children are breaking free, but not without scars. Jaguar Wright was right about one thing. When you build your legacy on control and corruption, even your own family will one day turn away. Drop your thoughts below, keep it respectful, and if you love a deep dive into celebrity drama, hit that like, tap subscribe, and don't forget to watch the next video, because what comes after this might just change how you see the entire entertainment world.